We're here today to ask, can Steven Seagal do what he says he can? My name's Antony Cummins, and today we're going to explore the movie martial arts star of Steven Seagal. Now, the Steven Seagal argument is, when it goes on the internet, is, can Steven Seagal do what he does in his Aikido style throws, and do they work in real life? And there's loads of internet discussion about this type of thing, so we're going to investigate that. First of all, let's have a look at a few of his moves and a little few of his clips. Okay, now you've had a look at them, so the question is, can they be done? And the question also arises, why do we not see these in mixed martial arts cage fighting? That's the big test everybody's asking, why are they not in them type of arenas? To start with, we've got to look at the origin of Aikido. Aikido is quite a modern martial art, but it is from much older martial arts. According to their history, it goes back over 900 years in the subsequent martial arts schools that are out there. So what you're looking at is you're looking at martial arts that's based in war period techniques. Now they are warring states in Japan when samurais were at each other's throats and actual full fighting with weapons. So Aikido is actually a weapons based system primarily to start with, but then obviously it expanded into a lot of unarmed combat. What we have to remember is that mixed martial arts is actually a duel. It's a one-on-one where there's nobody else coming in, you can take your time and look for openings. Aikido is from a wartime period where an opening it doesn't exist, you just get run at completely, straight in the face with some sort of weapon. The next point that comes up is people say there's always rapport between the student and the master and they sort of go with each other. Now of course, nobody's denying that, there is definitely a dance between the two. There's the master and the student. What the student does in Aikido is the student goes in with a simulated full-on wartime attack. So he doesn't hold back, there's no finding the central balance between two people to try and find openings. He simulates a full-on crash through with what would be a sword, a spear, a club, a mace, whatever it would be. They come at you with full force. The master then uses that, redirects and throws the person. Now what happens from there is that the student has to roll out, so the master helps him roll and then the student rolls with it as he is thrown. Now the reason for this is so he doesn't break his neck, because the point of a throw in wartime martial arts is to smash people into the ground onto their face. Can't have that every day, can we? Otherwise you'd have a few dead students. So of course there's a rapport, but the rapport is there so the student can give what the master needs to execute the type of throw that would happen in a realistic wartime situation. Now the problem is though, that gets manipulated, so doesn't it really? So you get people who pretend they say what they're doing and too many people go with it too much. So here's how you tell if Steven Seagal's doing a good throw or a bad throw, or any Aikido ka for that matter. Now watch the feet in this next clip. As you can see, as the feet go over, they don't whip round. This is quite a bad throw. This is where the students had to go with it too much or the master's not perfected the throw. The feet don't whip round in that fashion. However, when you look at the next clip, look at this one. The feet of the student whip round. There is absolutely no way he is in control or doing anything to aid the master. That foot has gone through the air in a solid whip fashion. So you know he's not doing it. He's given the correct attack, the master has thrown him through it. There is no disputing that at that point. So why don't they train with full blows and this type of style, melee, brawl, fighting? Well, the reason is, in cage fighting, two people get together and they try and find openings between each other. There is no full-on attack to kill. That only happens when they get into this situation and they're on the floor and they're grappling, and then you get full blows. Whereas war is completely different. You get one person running at another person in the crowd of hundreds, possibly thousands, and he gives a one single attack because there's one instance where their two meet. And at that point, the Aikido person must be able to throw them or disarm them, whatever they need to do. So you've got to realise that's why Aikido will never work in an MMA situation. It just won't happen. And do the throws really work? Well, we've all watched Steven Seagal throw his people around. I've got a story, a real life story, and everybody's got one, but it's not me who did it this time. I was in a club and I watched a mosher in a normal club pushing his weight around, having a bit, and he was getting more and more confident, and he starts pushing people to the point where he was really going in. Now, what I saw was a small young woman, actually, who was probably about 4.5 foot, and as he pushed his way in, she just got into his space, took him and threw him, and it was a perfect Aikido throw. She even kept his head and spun it for him so he would land back around near his feet. He was shaken and just walked off really embarrassed. But the difference was he came in with a full-on blow that was completely committed and not a dualistic type. So, we're looking at, can Steven Seagal do what he does? Yeah, of course he does. Would it work in MMA? No, because that's not what it's meant for. It's designed for war. So, you can continue to watch your Steven Seagal films with a bit of pride there, because, yeah, he is pretty good and he does do what he can say he can do.